Hi, I've got a thing I want to show you, and the main reason I want to show it to you is it's new, it's interesting, but mostly because I've been using this for the last few weeks and OMG, you would not believe the difference it's made. So, hands down, the most effective thing that I've done in a long time in terms of just getting your head switched on and in the right mode. If you've got something, you've got a new thing happening, or you've been struggling and you really need to get your head straight to be able to refocus, this is absolutely amazing. So a really good friend of mine that I was working with on my business, we were helping each other and talking about the things that we were doing for our own mindset. And she'd read a book that did a part of what I'm about to show you. And I added that to something I was already doing. And then it occurred to me that there was something else that we could add, and then it would make it an amazing thing. So it's a 4-part thing, kind of a quad. And the idea is that you do it last thing at night. And in the way of, if you've ever done a gratitude journal, it's that kind of thing. You do it at night, and it's a combination of the advice of my friend, the book she was reading, some stuff I was already doing, and some other magic. So without further ado, let me show you what it is. So I've done it out in a bit of a diagram so that I can talk you through it. And this is a working title. It may get called something else, but at the moment it's called Quad Ps. And the idea is you have a circle cut into 4, and you have a notebook, or you could do it electronically, but there's something about writing it with a pen or a pencil or a coloured pencil or a felt tip, and finding your way of enjoying this process. So you start with, now these are numbered, but I'll come back to that. So you start with the past. So this is the first quadrant that you just jot some things, only 2 or 3 things, last thing at night. And you jot down 2 or 3 achievements that you can remember from the past. Now this isn't a big kind of, oh right, I've got to go soul searching and remember things and blah, blah, blah. It is just whatever is the first thing that comes to mind. So sometimes when I've been doing it, it's been passing my driving test. Sometimes it's been a childhood thing of just the fact that we used to go out all day over the fields with a sandwich and have lovely fun. Sometimes it's a work thing, a business thing. It might be something I thought I couldn't do, and then I just kind of had a brave moment and went and did it. It's just whatever comes to mind, and it only needs to be 2 or 3 things. So you write those down in that one. Then you move on to this one, which if you've worked with me before, you'll know this is the A of the CARE model, which is acknowledge. When you acknowledge your achievements, you get a burst of serotonin, changes your brain chemicals. So we've done that in the past. Now we're doing it in terms of today. So what's the present moment and what's gone well today? It might be about something that you've done that you were intending to do, or maybe you got sidetracked but achieved something anyway. It could be just that you made it through a tricky meeting or whatever. It doesn't have to be something with whistles and bells and trophies and prizes. It can just be that you got a tricky job done. So that goes in there. What went well today? Again, just 2 or 3 things that come to mind. Could just be that you cooked a nice dinner. It doesn't have to be work-wise. And then we move on to number 3. Now, this might look like project, but it's not. It's project. So now we're starting to think about what's going to happen tomorrow. And whatever is happening tomorrow, if it's a day off, a day with family, a day on your own, a day of work, whatever it might be, what is the energy, the emotion, the vibe that you want to project? What's going to be most helpful for you tomorrow? So for instance, if it's something that's going to really need your focus, maybe it's about feeling energized and motivated. If it's spending time with somebody that you find a bit tricky, then maybe it's about patience and thoughtfulness and kindness. So what's going to really help you? And as you write those 3 things down, it's going to help you and your brain to start to get ready to be more of that the following day. And why we're doing this last thing is that you are then allowing your sleep time to generate all the things that you need. It's going to be making sense of it, getting you ready for the next day. The last one is plan. Now, this is not a time to start planning, writing a to-do list, emptying your head of all its nonsense. This is purely of the bigger goals that you've got going on at the moment. What one thing are you going to do tomorrow that might move you towards it? So you write that down there, but then you start to picture it and imagine yourself doing it and imagine what will happen when it's done. Just kind of spend a little bit of time here. When you've written in all 4 quadrants, the next thing you need to do is just sit for a while. Sit comfortably. Maybe light a candle, maybe have a joss stick, maybe you put on some bingy bongy music in the background. Just make it feel like a kind of a moment of contemplation. And all you do is sit really comfortably, breathe nice and long and deep, and just think about the things that you've written. If you need to open your eyes now and again and remind yourself what you've written, which is what I do sometimes, you could just spend a few moments doing that and just then get back to it. You're picturing all of those good things and you're allowing yourself a moment. And you know, you'll have heard me say this before probably, that we often rush from one thing to the next. Right, what's next? What's next? In this one, you absolutely need to just sit with it for a while. So the part of this that my friend recommended me towards is actually a form of writing down what you're planning and your big goals, and then meditating on it. And what the book that she was reading was saying is that there's something to show that when you do that last thing and you're meditating on the things that you want to happen in your life, when you go to sleep, your brain is making sense of all of that and feeling like it's already happening, putting things in place to make it easier, and you actually wake feeling that it's all more possible. And that's what's been a massive shift for me in doing these 4 quadrants, then quietly meditating on it and visualizing it. I wake up feeling completely different. I've had a few weeks now of just going, why do I feel so good? Why do I feel so clear? How comes I'm so motivated? Wow, I'm getting so much done every day. And what I'm getting done are the things I really need to get done, and less of the stuff that used to just distract me. So you might want to give it a go. And if you do, don't get hung up on what it looks like, because that's not the point. The point is what you're doing with your brain. So when I do it, I've just got a notebook that has no lines in it. It's just an open notebook. I draw a circle. I do the quadrants as an X. I do past, present, project, and plan. And I put those in there like that. I jot down my 2 or 3 things in each quadrant. I meditate. I go to sleep. So it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be, of course, if you do want to buy some new stationery and you need the excuse for a new notebook, fill your boots and make it beautiful. You know, if you find that your brain starts to kick in and get interested and excited and motivated by making it beautiful, you could do it with coloured pens and put some glittery stickers on it. You could do what you like. Find your way of making this something that you just do every evening. And the thing that I've found is that it makes me feel good. So I'm actually looking forward to doing it. Not like, oh, I've got to do that job. I'm actually looking forward to doing it because it's making such a difference. And so I get excited about doing it. I really wanted to share it with you. I've been talking to quite a few people about it, and I went for a walk with a good friend this morning, and he's been using it. I just couldn't stop talking about it because of the difference it was making for me. And so he just started doing it too, and he was telling me this morning how much difference it's made for him. And I thought, do you know what? I want everybody to know about this. It might suit you. Give it a go. It might not. You know, one thing about people saying this is the way to get this success and this is the way to get major sales or £1 million or whatever it might be, and often they're showing you something that works for them doesn't necessarily work for you in the way your brain works. So you know, it might not be your thing, but I just love it so much. I'm sure that there's at least a chunk of people who are going to find it useful. So I hope you give it a go. I would absolutely love it if you let me know how it works for you. And whether, and even if it doesn't, because it would be good to know, what was it about it that didn't suit you, and that'll help me to know when I've got a whole audience of people that I might be doing this with, that I'll be able to say some of you might find XYZ, and it'll help me. So I'll appreciate that. So you can send me an email, pam@pamburrows.com. But basically, give it a go, and I really do hope that it works as well for you as it does for me, and that you have fun with it. Okay, go for it.